Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Yvette Quale, and on my channel I like to share craft tutorials for junk journaling, beadwork, paper crafting, and more. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a mixed media Minnesota design team project. And so what I have here is a little, I don't know what I'm calling it other than a little journal card booklet, I guess. And I'm using the Birdhouse embroidery kit from Mixed Media Minnesota. And it's a really cute kit with images of hand embroidered little bird houses. So we're going to take our closure off here, and on the cover you'll see that I've taken one of the images and made a pocket, and then inside that pocket is another image that I've folded in half and just put some tea-dyed paper and did some hand stitching around for a journal card that slides in the front. As we open it up, you'll see that there's 4 sections here, and we'll undo these little ties and pull those up. And once we do that, you'll see that we have what flips out into 6 different spots here. So let's just kind of scan up. So let's start at the top here. So again, this was folded over and you have your 2 journal spots here. As we open it up, we have 2 pockets here that hold a journal card, and these are made out of the images from the kit. I just used some scrapbook cardstock in different colors, and in each one of these we have a side loading pocket that has a little journal card in there from the kit, and it has a little 1-inch scallop punch that I've used with some paper to make a little tab to pull them out of the pocket. So there's another little image from the kit. I really had fun with this kit. When I first saw it, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I really liked the images. So here we have a double pocket that's made out of their corner pockets made out of the cardstock. And then inside, on each side, we have a small journal card and a tag with a little bit of embellishment on there. I tried not to embellish too much because I wanted you to see the kit and what you could do with it and get the basics for understanding how to construct the booklet. So here's a large journal card. So the images were a little bit larger than I needed, so I just cut them down to the size that I needed. So let's load these in here. And the Birdhouse embroidery kit does have a separate kit, and then this is the add-on kit that I used. So here's another little journal card with a tag. And I think they look realistic when you open them up. I really like the images, how they turn out. So let's put those back into the pockets here. And then as we move down, you'll see that we have the bottom 2 flaps here. Same as the top. It's got the little tea-dyed paper in there for journaling. And then it's got 2 little images. All of the stitching on the cards is hand-drawn stitching because I haven't been brave enough to try stitching with my machine. So there's that. Alright, so then that just tucks up and these pull down. Go around the button, and then on the back you'll see I have a little pocket here with another journal card in there that I've made, and just tea-dyed paper with a little bit of decorative paper on the edge. Give it a little something different there, and then just use whatever closure that you'd like. So the fun thing about this is you can actually put it into a journal and just sew it in to the signature or in between the signatures in the journal, and that looks really cute. Nice little surprise inside your journal. So let's go ahead and get started here. So what I've done is I've selected a piece of cardstock here, and we're going to cut that to 8 inches across. So this is a 12 by 12 piece, double-sided, and you're going to decide which image you want on the front and which one you want on the inside. So this is going to be 8 inches across, so we're going to leave 8 inches across this way. We're going to leave it 12 inches long. Okay, now the next part that we're going to do here is we're going to score this. So I do have a scoreboard, but some of you don't. So I'm showing you, I like to share tips on how to do things without having all the fancy things. So you want to make sure that you're working on the inside when we score so that it just bends easier that way. So we're going to score this at 4 inches, which is right down the middle. If you always keep the 8-inch at the top and the bottom, that's really going to help you orient how we're going to do this and where to cut and everything. Okay, so we're just going to take this and like I said, I do have a score board, but I use this too. So I just use a knitting needle, line up your paper, and then you're just going to score right down the center there. And you'll notice at the end here, let me scoot this up if I can, one-handed. You'll see at the bottom here that there isn't enough room here to go all the way to the end, and that's fine. When you fold that, it'll go ahead and just fold there. It's about a 1/2 inch at the bottom that doesn't fold. So we're going to fold that, score that at the 4 inch, and then you're going to score along the top and along the bottom at 3 inches. We're going to take that, line this up. Now the reason that this is 3 inches is because when you take 3 inches from this side and 3 inches from the other, from the 3 inches from the top and 3 inches from the bottom, that leaves you 6 inches in the middle for the flaps to come in and meet one another. If we go smaller or larger on this, they're not going to meet in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and score this. Now I do know that my cutting mechanism here does have a score on there, but I always tend to just go ahead and cut. So I always use a knitting needle to remind myself that I'm scoring. We'll go ahead and score that right there at 3 inches. We're going to turn this over so you're working the 8-inch side here, and we're going to score that again at the 3-inch mark. I'll have all these measurements in the description box so you don't have to go back and listen to me stumble through that. Alright, so we'll go ahead and score that at 3. So what you should have at this point, move this out of the way, you should have your 8 inches across, 12 inches long, scored down the middle at 4 inches, scored at 3 inches, and scored at 3 inches on the bottom, so that when these flaps fold in, they're going to meet in the middle there. You'll see there's a little bit of discoloration here on my paper. I'm just using this for demonstration purposes, so that's fine. So the other thing you want to make sure is that your raindrops, because these are raindrops, they're coming down, not going up. So this is going to be this way, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is cut, and what you want to do is cut this center score mark right here on the bottom. So you want to cut, keep the 8 inches, always 8 inches going this way. You're going to cut right up the middle to where it meets the horizontal line that we made at the 3-inch mark. So I always just go right up that score line, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come back, and on each side you're just going to cut a little sliver in there. And what this is going to do is allow that like a file folder so that it can bend and not crease when you open and close it. So I just freehand this. I'm not real particular about it, but the idea is, see, when we fold this up, you've got a little gap in here. This also is going to help you if you're going to sew this into a journal. All right, so let me go ahead and cut this one right up to that point. Then again, we're just going to take a little sliver off there, kind of at an angle, wider at the bottom of the paper, narrowing to the intersection there. Okay, so basically now we're going to have this going on. Okay, and then we're going to fold that, and there's our booklet. All right, so for these flaps, what we're going to do is cut, you need 8 pieces. Now they can be coordinating or they can be different, as you'll see here. I did not back these because I put tea-dyed paper on here. So if you wanted to, you could put another pocket on the other side of this so that you have a pocket here loading on the side, and then you would have a pocket here that loads on the side. I didn't do that for complication reasons in videoing and just making it easier. Plus this gives you more room to write and journal. So as you open these up, if you're going to have 8 pockets, of course you're going to need 8 pieces of cardstock and 8 images. So when I printed these images out from the kit, Birdhouse Embroidery, let me find it here, hold on a minute, loaded all my other things on top of it. Alright, so what we have is these images here, and what I did was I used these to be the pockets on the inside, and then these up here, there's 6 of those are the journal cards. And then I did exactly what I did the first time here, which was I printed it in the wrong orientation. So then I made this one into a journal card, and I'll show you that here so you know what I'm talking about. So I just took this one and just cut it out and made it into a journal card. So that's how I ended up with 2 journal cards that weren't the same, because otherwise I'd have the same. And then just cut those out. So the little pocket on the back is made out of this image here, right down here. I just cut this off and made that into a little pocket. So I pretty much used all of the pieces, and then I did trim out the journal card spots here at the top. And if I were to put this in a journal or something, or give it as a gift, I think I would go ahead and put washi tape or a piece of cardstock on there, or a piece of lace or something to reinforce that. Just, you know, to make it a little bit better, a little bit sturdier. All right, and then we're going to make 2 corner pockets here. So I'm going to go ahead and start the process. So to have your tie, I just glued down 2 buttons here. I punched a hole with my crocodile and just ran a piece of yarn with a knot through there. So there's lots of different ways that you could tie that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to our sample here. So we've got raindrops coming down. The front doesn't matter because that pattern's kind of random. Okay, so we're going to cut some pieces here. Let me grab my cutter. Whoa. Sorry, mini avalanche here. All right. Time to clean my desk again. Okay, so now we have to think a little bit about math, and like I said, I will write all of these in the description box so you don't have to think too much. So down here on the flap, this is 3 inches by 3 inches, right? Wait a minute, 3, so it's 4 inches across, 3 inches tall, 4 by 3. So we need to cut, and we like to have a little border around the edge. So I'm going to cut this to 2.5 by 3.5. It's really hard to think and talk and do all this at once. Okay, so we're going to go, and we want this to orient this way, so we need to make that the 3 inch because you're 4 inches across. So we need to make this the 3.5 inch. All right, so we're going to cut that at 3.5. Okay. And then we need it 2.5 tall. So we're going to cut that at 2.5. And we need 4 of those, so we're going to go 2.5. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but this is how I do it. 2.5 and 2.5. And like I said, if you wanted to put additional pockets on there so that you had more journaling cards to put in, that's awesome. Just go ahead and cut 4 more. All right, so I've got those cut out. Now we need pockets that will go, we're going to set these aside. You're going to need corner pockets here. So this section, if you were to fold up on that line, it's 4 inches across this way to the center, and it's 6 inches long. So we're going to do 5.5 by 3.5 to make a pocket. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. I have something that's big enough. Pull my little arm out there. So we've got 5.5, and that's our width, right? No, we want 4. Ooh, good thing we looked. So we want 4.5. Where's my 4.5? We want 4.5 across, and I want this pattern to go across. So, no, 3.5. Wow. I promise you I'll write all these down and I'll get them right. So we want it 3.5 across, and we want it 5.5 tall. There we go, 3.5, and then we're going to cut that to 5.5. Okay, and then we're going to cut that at an angle, and I do it this way. I don't know if this is right or not, but this is how I do it. I line up that top up here in the corner up here, and I line up the corner at the bottom, so I have that angle. So it's lined up here and it's lined up down here, and I just cut it. So depending on your pattern, you're going to have to cut that so that it orients correctly, because see here, when I do this, you have 2 pockets, but they're backwards, right? Or you have this. So we have to cut another pocket the same size. Oh dear. So we got 3.5, yes, and then we have to go by 5.5. So if your pattern is, or if you have a solid color, it would work out great. So now we want to have this one go this way, so we have to cut it this way. Does that make sense? So this one we cut, you know, that way. This one we have to cut this way, so the pocket goes this way, angled down like this. All right, so we're going to lay this in here, and instead of laying it this way like I did the first one, we're going to lay it this way, line that up, and cut it. And if all goes well in the craft room today, we will have 2 pockets that are oriented correctly. We'll also have another set here if you want to use that in another little booklet. So we're just going to line these up like this. Now I made a double pocket, so now we have to think again, because this is 3.5, so we want this to be 3, and this is 5.5, so we want it to be 3 by 5 in a coordinating color. So let me see if I can do the green on there. I don't know if that's 3 inches wide. Yes, it is. So we're going to go 3 inches across. And we're going to cut this by 5. Okay. Sorry if I confused you guys there with my numbers. I thought I had it all in my head, but I even wrote it down, but then forgot to read my note. So we're going to line this up again with our point up on the line there, the bottom point on the line. Make sure that you're lined up. Take a minute to do that. Go ahead and cut that. Now this pattern, it doesn't really matter, but as you'll see, you still have this problem. So you always need to cut 2 to get the proper orientation on that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut another one at 5. Okay, and again, this pattern doesn't matter, so you can cut it, but I just get in the habit of doing it so that I do it when it's a pattern that I need to cut correctly. So go ahead and cut that. I think I did that wrong. Did I? Yes, I did. Oh dear. Maybe we don't want a pocket on this one. Maybe I'll use this pocket I cut earlier and did right. So it's going to be easier, trust me, if you use something that's not patterned. Especially if you're under pressure and on camera. Alright, so there we go. I like it. I'm going with it. Alright, let's go ahead and glue down our pockets here. Our improv pocket. We're going to glue along the bottom. And we're going to glue along the long end of the straight end of the side here. And just glue that down. And do the same thing with the smaller version of that pocket. Right there. Right here. Go ahead and glue that down. And like I said, I'm not being too particular here. I've got glue because I'm just showing you how to construct it real quick here. We're going to go along this edge. Go along the bottom. Kind of eyeball it and get it where you want it. Stick it down. Okay. Same thing here. Alright, so we got those pockets done. Now we move on to the pockets at the flaps here. So you want to glue the top, the side, and the bottom so the ends are open on all 4 ends. So let's get our ducks in a row here. So we make sure everything's oriented correctly and we're doing it the right way. So we're going to glue here, here, and here. Okay. Like that. This one we're going to glue here, here, and here. So let's go here. I'm sure I'm going to mess this up on camera. It's a crazy craft room. Alright, so we're going to kind of line that up. Oh, guess I should get my arm out of the way here. Line that up like that. So hopefully you guys can be crafty enough to figure this out because I'm really trying. Okay, that's got to go this way. And we're going to go this side open. So we're going to do these 3 sides. Who knew you had to think this much in a craft room, right? Alright, so there we are with that. Alright. Going to go ahead and do these 3 sides. There we go. Like that. Alright, then what I did down at the bottom there for the pockets was, let me find my kit paper here. I just took the page with all these journal cards, I cut them out and put tea-dyed paper on the back, did a little hand-drawn stitching around them. So that's how I did those. And then for the pockets themselves, I just took the pocket, whoa, hello, and I just cut out along this brown line. Now you'll see in my sample here, let me pull one out in a minute so I can show you. So on the journal cards, I cut on the inside of this brown line, and then the journal cards fit very nicely inside my little pocket. So they measure just about the same as what I had there for the pocket. So that was really nice. Okay, and then we just cut those out, and they're going to go on here like this. And then you're just going to glue those down so that the top is open on each one. And that's where a little tea-dyed paper is what I put in mine, but you could make a little journal card or put little things in there. I thought this would be like a fun gift for a friend who likes to craft. Put little things in there. Okay. And so just go ahead and put one on each one of those, and then you're going to cut out a piece of cardstock. Let me find a piece here. We'll do this one since we've had so much fun with it. And I just took my scallop punch and punched out 4 of those, or 2 of those. And then I just put those on the flap, and I did about 1/4 of the way down like this. And then I just stuck it on there. Kind of eyeballed it, centered it. And then I punched a hole in the bottom with my crocodile, put a button on, glued it down, put my string through there, and then tied it down. So again, I'll show you that with my sample here. And as you can see, the journal cards, I just cut that brown that's on there. I just cut that brown part off, and that journal card fits nice and snug right inside there. So as you can see, it's just got the button, and this I just slid through there. It's just loose in there with a knot at the end to keep it intact when you're working in it. So there it is. On the back, I just had that little pocket on the back and put the little journal card in there. So if you don't want to decorate the back, you don't have to, but I thought it was fun. Then just put your closure on, put something in the pocket. You're good to go. All right, if you have any questions, which I'm sure you will after that demo, please put them in the description box. And please check out Mixed Media Minnesota. She's got some really cute things going on her shop. And she's also having a promotion for April, so you have a few more days for that. For every order that you place, you receive some stuff. So, I mean, check it out because she's got the details. And then for every $10 more that you spend, she has even better deal for you. So please go to Mixed Media Minnesota on Etsy and check that out. I'll put a link in the description box. Again, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so if you like my content, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.